Can you hear me? Good afternoon, everyone. We'll get this event started. First off, I want to welcome each of you to our 2023 Economic Development Corporation Annual Meeting. It's truly a pleasure to bring everybody together and really hear about the community from the vision of what Keith has done as a EDC, as the CEO and chair of that, our president. And I want to take a minute and thank our host provider around all the production stuff, and that's Mobile Pro. So thank you, Mobile Pro, for being here this year. I also want to take a moment and just highlight a few special guests that are here today. First off, I'd like to welcome Mayor Baczynski. I do see you somewhere here, right there. Thank you for attending. You know, 2022 was an interesting year, and I got to commend the mayor for his steadfast leadership, the vision with our community as a collective group, as a community, and I appreciate the vision that you have every day that you go to work. I also want to highlight the city council members that are here. President Dana Sandy, he's here. I also want to highlight Trish Lunsky, Kyle Kavami, Rebecca Wasowski, Ken Veen, and Brent Weber just showed up. So welcome and thank you for all you do to our community. I also want to highlight our county commissioners. They work tirelessly as a group to really work with the county perspective of our business needs and our community needs. Who we have present tonight are Kimberly Hagan, Cynthia Peach, Bob Rost, and Dave Engen. Thank you for your support. You know, the legislative session's going on right now, but correct me if I'm wrong. I don't think there are any legislators here, but we want to extend a thank you and commend them for their work in the state and region also. I also want to comment that if I've missed anybody, just make sure you understand that I'm working off an RSVP and sometimes I miss those things or we miss them, so don't take it personally. I also want to introduce Colonel Curry from the Grand Forks Air Force Base and all his Air Force team that supports our community. Colonel Curry is one of those people that really takes a steadfast leadership approach, and I really appreciate, as the chair of the EDC, his intentional engagement with our community. And I want to thank you for your support and your team and the service you provide our country to. So thank you. President Armacost is supposed to be traveling, so unless somebody tells me differently, I don't think he's here. But, you know, he has brought a great amount of sunshine and light to our university and to our community. And I want to thank him and his collective team for what they do in our region. So thank you again, President Armacost. Just a couple comments about me. In January of 23, I took over as board chair of the EDC, and I follow another individual who did a wonderful job in his role, Jonathan Holth. But I also want to mention the board, the ex officio board, and our advisory board members. We have a collective group that are very intentional around everything they do to support the guidance of our EDC organization. The board itself works tirelessly to dedicate time around the operational guidance of our EDC, the funding and economic growth recommendations that we pass on to the Growth Committee and Jobs Development Authority. And I feel when I look at what they do, it's just a great collaboration of insight and strategy that happens when we meet. So thank you to the board and the ex officios for the work that you do to support us. To the advisory board that we have, and there's a number of you on our advisory board, it's really fun to get an industry perspective of what happens in each of your worlds that you work in, the partnership that you have and the commitment you make to the community. We take those very seriously as we look at what we use as tools for us to kind of take the next step in our journey. And so thank you for what you do to support our efforts. I'm going to deviate a little bit because I want to recognize the EDC team here tonight too. And I know Keith is going to do this later, but just from a smaller view, we have a tremendous team that likes to be very quiet and humble about what they do. And recognition is not always on their plate, but I want to just highlight we have a great team. We have Keith Lund, we have Becca Kruger, we have Bill Adams, we have Kevin Thatcher, we have Mark Molesky, we have Amy Lund, we have our new workforce person, Katie Pressler, and Victoria Leadham, who is now the intern working with us. It's just a wonderful group to support and work with, and the work that they do can be silent and it can be very quiet at times in terms of the results they have, but I want to offer them a tremendous thank you for the efforts they put forward. Thank you. Just a little bit more about the theme that you see here tonight. We're going to talk about today, tomorrow, and together. One of the things that I will tell you as a perspective of as the chair and previously on the board, I've been involved with this organization for probably 12 years. And the one thing that I see is we look at this message around and theme around today, tomorrow, and together. The team that's in place at the EDC is highly engaged for today. They take up on opportunities and challenges for tomorrow, and they look at a partnership that works together with everybody in this room and our community, and I think that's a really wonderful perspective and mission that they have. So I want to thank them for that, and remember that as you leave here tonight, they're really intentionally working for all of us as a community to grow and prosper our community and region. So thank you to them. One of the things I want to take a little moment with is to bring Jonathan up. Jonathan worked as our previous chair of the EDC. Jonathan Holt is really a special individual, and he led through some really unique challenges in this last year, as you might guess. He came in as the board chair saying, I don't want any trouble, I don't want any waves, I just want a smooth ride through, right? But the world changes and things happen, and he guided with really patience, great amount of patience, and able to handle the delicate things that we dealt with on a day-to-day basis. And he was always accessible to myself or to anyone on the board, to the team at the EDC, and we want to thank you for that. And we appreciate the service you provided to the EDC and to our community. So with that, we have a special gift for you. So if you'd come up, John. One of the things I'll just say about John, he likes to be seen. So last year, you remember the screens? There's a lot of screens. We had to kind of take the SMART initiative this year and kind of put more money towards something that was more effective. So we minimized the screens a little bit, less on me or less on him. But hey, the guys, it's just a wonderful thing to have, and he was great to have with us. So with that, we know Jonathan likes glasses. So we have a thank you for providing the vision and the leadership to the Grand Forks Regional EDC Board Chair 2020 to 22 from all of us. Thank you, John. So the Klaus Thiessen Award, Impact Award, recognizes outstanding businesses and individuals who make a positive impact to our economic growth, our prosperity, our community in the Grand Forks region. It was named 5 years ago in the honor of Klaus Thiessen, who retired at the EDC as president after 14 years of serving our community.
People making an impact in a community embody all kinds of characteristics.
I think leadership,
Passion.
takes vision.
Collaboration is everything.
All these great qualities end up being kind of a symbol of trust. If you're touting this area and an organization wants to take the risk of moving to this area, there's got to be an element of trust.
The Klaus Thiessen Impact Award recognizes an individual or a company that has made a significant and lasting investment in the Grand Forks region.
The county, the city, the Chamber of Commerce, the Economic Development Corporation, the university, we came together, and a lot of that's because of Klaus Thiessen. He was the glue that brought everybody together, and you know what? We're still together. and that's our strength.
Just seemed a natural fit to say this should be the Klaus Thiessen Impact Award.
The recipient is someone who's already made a significant impact to the economic vitality of our community.
Someone that's a leader, someone that is investing in the community, and being here to help and figure out what is in the best interest of not only the community but the region.
And our vision is to enhance economic vitality and growth in the Grand Forks region. And we live out that vision by collaboration and hard work.
I think the encouragement comes from the results you get by volunteering, and with awards like the Klaus Thiessen Impact Award are probably more about the appreciation for efforts well done.
This is a high-level award that we get to bestow on people, the investors, the entrepreneurs, and I believe they will know what they've done and accomplished, and now they're being recognized for those efforts.
The award really is our way to show appreciation for them, and we hope it really honors them.
Very much appreciated, but absolutely humbling.
Most successful business people, they think about certainly how they can improve their business and grow their business, but they're also thinking about how do I improve the community and the region that I live in.
So now it's my pleasure to introduce Megan Compton. She's the Chief Clinical Officer at Altru. She's our Vice Chair on the board. She works tirelessly to support our efforts and within the community, so I'll turn it over to you, Megan.
Thanks, John. As John noted, I have the privilege of announcing tonight's Klaus Thiessen Impact Award winner. As the video shared, this award is given to an individual selected for their dedication and commitment to the economic development of our community. The past award winners have clearly displayed leadership and vision that made a significant impact on the growth and the development of where we choose to live. The 2023 award winner has certainly proven that he belongs in this prestigious class of individuals. I'd like to take a moment to highlight just a few of his accomplishments. He served as one of the principal architects of the merger of United Hospital and the Grand Forks Clinic in 1997 that created what is now known as Altru Health System. Creating an integrated health system was a pivotal move to maintaining the highest levels of care possible for our community. In 2003, he co-chaired the team that studied and negotiated a merger of the Grand Forks and East Grand Forks Chambers of Commerce, something that still exists today. In 2011, he, along with Dr. Casey Ryan, worked with Mayo leadership to pioneer the first of its kind, a Mayo Clinic Care Network. Today, there are nearly 50 healthcare organizations all across the country as part of this network. In 2015, he chaired the UND School of Medicine and Health Sciences Advisory Council, partnering with the medical school leadership and area legislators to win legislative approval of $220 million, the largest legislative investment in a building ever approved by the legislature. And prior to his first retirement, in 2017, he had the foresight to see the need for a new hospital, breaking ground on a $480 million project that will open its doors in the fall of 2024. For this reason, and so many more, Dave Molman is the very well-deserving recipient of the 2023 Klaus Thiessen Award. For more than a decade, Dave served as CEO of Altru Health System. Then, in case he was having too much fun in retirement, we talked him into coming back for an additional 18 months while we searched for our wonderful new CEO, Todd Forkel. Dave graciously dedicated his time not only to the system, but to the community, placing the highest value on public service, community development, and helping people to achieve their highest potential. I happen to know this from personal experience. I first met Dave about 10 years ago, the day I walked into his office, 9 months pregnant, and told him I thought Altru could use a general counsel and that he should probably hire me for the job. A normal CEO would have looked for the closest exit and run. But instead, he leaned in and asked me to share my vision, and then kindly suggested I start in a role where I could learn the difference between what a AAA in healthcare means and the roadside assistance I had in my car. Not really, he didn't say it exactly like that, he's too kind, but he did take a chance on me, and I'm forever grateful. I could spend all night talking about Dave's success and major milestones, because there are certainly plenty. But what had the greatest impact on me and those that worked closest with him was his commitment to servant leadership. Walking to meetings with Dave, you knew you needed to leave a few minutes early because you'd stop along the way to be picking up garbage or to help somebody find their way who maybe be lost in the hospital hallways. You could not pass Dave in the hall without him saying hello and smiling at you. And he's just tall enough that you couldn't dodge him or hide from him. You'd have to say hello back. His positivity is something that you can feel. It's contagious and palpable everywhere he goes. And if you were on his team, you could expect he was always thinking about our strategic vision and how you were going to be a part of bringing it to fruition. Dave is a true visionary and cares deeply about the people and the impact that we can make in working together. This unique combination of traits makes us so proud to honor him with this award. Dave, please join me on stage to accept your award on behalf of Keith and the Board of Directors. Thank you for sharing your gifts, and a giant congratulations.
Wow. Thank you for such an overwhelming and humbling honor. They said I could say a few comments today. And when they said that, I heard the emphasis to be on a few. So I'll try to honor that. Being awarded an honor that bears the name of Klaus Thiessen is something that's a really big deal to me. I had the opportunity to work with Klaus Thiessen throughout the entire decade and a half that he was the CEO of our EDC. And I'll tell you, he is a great leader and an inspiring person, and it just warms my heart to be connected to him in any way I can. He was a quiet leader, but I can barely think in that time, that decade and a half, of anyone who made a greater impact on the economy of our region than Klaus Thiessen. And all the while, he was just a great guy to work with. Everybody loved working with Klaus. And I knew whenever a call came in from Klaus that it was going to be good. Even if it was something that was difficult, it was going to be good. And you were going to feel after the conversation that it was a worthwhile conversation. And I think Klaus shared something else with our awesome current CEO, Keith, and the staff, and the board, and the advisory board. And that's that he was all about making it happen. You know, I think in our community, we're all about playing the game well and doing it right, but everybody understood that the goal was to put it in the net. And I think that time after time, our community has done that. In fact, you know, I think today's theme for this meeting, what a great thrill. I think if you rolled up 75% of the good things that I learned in the time that I have been in Grand Forks, which is now decades, that it could be summed up in the 3 words of our theme for today: today, tomorrow, together. I think that if there's something that really sets us apart as a community, I know there's something that sets us apart as a community, it's that we play well together, we partner with each other, and we take care of each other. I have had the privilege of working with all of you, some of you a short time and some of you for a long time, but working with all of you. And I'd say that over the years, we've been through some things. And a lot of those things have been good things, and some of them have been tough things. But whether it was a celebration or a tragedy, I knew one thing every day, and that's that everybody was going to show up and do their thing. In all my time in this community, the one word I have never heard is no. And for that, I thank all of you for that. I am so proud and pleased to have worked with you all, and so excited about what you're making happen in this community now. I'm proud of my All True team members. I'm so thrilled that there are a number of them with us today, and they are just awesome people, and I want all of you to know that our health system has never been in better, more talented or dedicated hands than it is right now. And the last thing I wanted to say is I just want to recognize some people that are really important in my life, and that's my family. They're here today. My daughters, Brittany and Brianna, are here, and my son-in-law, Dan, and my new granddaughter, Iris, is here today, so that's really fun. I'm surprised she hasn't raised a point of order so far, but she's doing well. And last, but certainly not least, I want to recognize and thank my dear wife, who completes me in every good way, and any good thing that I've ever been a part of has generally been caused more by her than me. So I'm really proud of them. And I wonder if you'd be willing to recognize my family with me. Stand up, you guys. Stand up. Stand up. So, thank you very much. I'm very humbled to receive this honor, and I really appreciate it. Thank you.
Dave, again, congratulations on behalf of you and your family, and you should be very proud of Dave's work over the years, and he's a very giving person, so thanks again. With that, we now come to the part of the program where we get to hear from Keith Lund, and we get to hear about the great things that are happening in our community and our region. Keith, take it away.
Today, our region is seeing record development, and we don't plan to stop there. We've got our eyes on the skies and roots in the ground as we build our region's tomorrow. Thanks to strong public-private partnerships, we're working together to attract innovative people and business investment to Grand Forks County. Our UAS ecosystem continues to be the most robust in the country, leading the United States in the industry. Today, we've attracted companies from all across the globe. You could say that our ecosystem is out of this world. The U.S. Space Development Agency opened its Ground Operations and Integration Center at the Grand Forks Air Force Base. The center operates and controls multi-layer satellite operations, setting the stage for tomorrow in national defense strategies. Vantis, the first statewide UAS beyond visual line of sight network, held the grand opening of the Mission and Network Operations Center at Grand Sky. This command center has already seen 150-plus successful flights, and UAS companies are working together to set FAA policies and write the future of the industry. We've been growing our agribusiness sector for hundreds of years, and today, it's no surprise that our region continues to reap the rewards. In fact, the North Dakota Mill hit a new milestone with 100 years in business. The only state-owned mill in the country is a true example of what working together can accomplish. The mill has a net economic impact of $800 million annually and grinds over 40 million bushels of grain a year. That's enough sacks of flour to wrap the globe, probably. Epitome Energy chose Grand Forks as the site for a $400 million soybean crushing facility. The plant will create around 60 new jobs and upwards of $300 million of economic activity each year. 5 years ago, we came together to plan for tomorrow. That foresight created the path for Greater Grand Forks, way cooler than you think, to receive one of the highest international awards for its talent attraction website. Not only has our region seen a huge growth of young professionals, but our schools are full of the real tomorrows, our children. Today marks one of the highest K-12 enrollments in the history of Grand Forks. Last year, we announced our membership campaign that would allow us to better address the needs of workforce in our community. We came together, and because of your investment, we've hired a new team member to help take on the challenge. In 2022, we went above and beyond to propel us into the future. Today, we're working hard for the citizens of our region by investing in our legacy sectors and innovating within new industries. We will build a stronger tomorrow. At the EDC, we know we can achieve it because we understand what it takes for business, government, and civic leaders to come together to build the future.
Well, good afternoon, everyone. We didn't get a chance to check this. How are we doing? Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the 2023 EDC Annual Meeting. John and Megan, thank you for a tremendous kickoff. And Dave, I just want to personally congratulate you on being named the Klaus Thiessen EDC Impact Award winner. Your vision and your passion kept the community together during the pandemic and focused on the critically important work of building a state-of-the hospital. So again, thank you very much. Jonathan, I just want to, there you are, white glasses. I just want to underscore everything that John said and really appreciate your leadership as board chair over the last 2 years. Appreciate the many conversations we had, and many of those were not from the 8 to 5 Monday through Friday timeframe, so appreciate you being willing to have a conversation and the leadership that you provided. I want to recognize somebody who I'm not sure is here yet. So Joe Raso, Fargo-Moorhead Economic Development Corporation, are you here? Well, I'm going to do it anyway because it's in my notes. Joe Raso, he is, I guess, my counterpart from the Southern Valley. He and I and our organizations partner on a number of things related to public policy for the Valley as well as the state of North Dakota. So I appreciate the fact that he's on the way right now, or at least that's what he told me, and certainly appreciate his partnership. You know, it's been talked a lot about, and I'm really pleased about our theme today. It's really, I think, a big part of the DNA of our community. And so today, tomorrow, together. It may sound a little similar to UND's strategic plan theme, today, tomorrow, forever. And we like to think that our strategic plan theme came first and then UND's. And our copyright lawyers are looking into that just right now. So I really wish President Armacost were here. That joke was really just for him. But in reality, the EDC's and UND's strategic plan really complement and overlap. And I think that demonstrates that we work together collectively to make a positive impact on the Grand Forks region today and for tomorrow. When we drive around the region today, there's a tremendous amount of development occurring, as we saw in the video, and there's much more being planned. We already talked about the Ultra Hospital and Dave's tremendous contribution, and Todd and your executive team will get an opportunity to spike the ball when the project is complete and the building opens in the fall of 2024, and we're all very much looking forward to that. Okay, consider the downtown projects of Olive Ann, as well as the Beacon and Franklin on 4th. We would have loved to shown you an image of Franklin on 4th, but right now it's just a simple hole in the ground. These investments, though, are critical in attracting and retaining workforce in our community. Investment is validation, demonstrating investor confidence in our region. I'd like to first thank the developers for putting their capital at risk and making Grand Forks a better place. I think I saw Phil Giese come in today. I'm not sure if John Miscavige is here in terms of Franklin on 4th, and I'm not sure if anyone from Epic is here, but really we need to thank them for that investment again in making Grand Forks a fantastic place. And I also want to congratulate Mayor Vichinsky and the Grand Forks City Council on their success in achieving so many major developments. So thank you very much. And finally, I need to thank the Grand Forks School Board and Grand Forks County Commission. It does take a community, so I'd like to thank them for embracing these projects and for embracing regional growth. Joe Raso, I just recognized you. Wave to the crowd. You just walked in right after I was done. Thanks for being here today, Joe, and thanks for your partnership. You know, as Dave mentioned, really, working together is our community calling card. It's recognized by the state and the legislature. Grand Forks is the gold standard and the envy of communities, other communities. When we host businesses, it's the collaboration that brings us together today, which propels us to success tomorrow. You know, this is my one opportunity every year to really explain what the Economic Development Corporation does. The Grand Forks Region EDC's mission is to expand economic opportunity for the citizens of the Grand Forks region through industry growth and diversification. And we work to fulfill that mission through supporting businesses in the primary sector. Primary sector companies have two major components relative to their definition. Number one, they add value to a product or service. And so what that means is they make something here. And number two, they sell that product or service primarily outside of our trade region. Companies can be as big as LM Wind Power or just getting started like Real Good Cookies. Simplot is a great example of a primary sector company. Pretty nice. I bet you didn't think you'd see dancing potatoes when you're driving to the annual meeting today. Simplot purchased potatoes from regional farmers. Maybe some of you in this room, I'm not sure if I saw Paul Spruill. I think I might have walked in today. And from those locally sourced potatoes, they make all sorts of food products that we enjoy every day. French fries, tater tots, and hash browns. And those delicious products are shipped all over the globe and sold to customers all over the globe. And many of those resources then end up coming back right back to Grand Forks. And those resources then are used by Simplot to buy more potatoes from regional farmers, to pay their employees, pay local and state taxes, and purchase goods and services from many of you in this room, I suspect. This is why we focus on the primary sector. Primary sector companies bring new resources into our community to help pay for roads and schools and opportunities for others to prosper. This is how a community grows. Primary sector companies bring new wealth into our community that would not otherwise exist. And our primary sector companies and economy has been growing. Over the last decade, EDC clients, primary sector companies, have increased the number of jobs at their establishments by 26%, increased their average salary by 46%, and increased their payroll contributions by 84%. And what does that mean? EDC client companies, primary sector companies, contribute $548 million in direct payroll contributions in the region. Many of you are here in this room today, and thank you very much. The Grand Forks region has one of the most diverse economies in the state, and as a result, we have one of the most diverse economic development strategies in the state. On the screens are our legacy and emerging growth sectors. They range from our availability, our excess land, and our availability of airspace. Our legacy sectors are tied to our economy, our fundamental economy, and our emerging sectors are tied to our institutions of higher education in the region, namely the University of North Dakota and also Northland Community and Technical College, as well as Lakes Region State College. We don't have time to talk about all of our unique sectors, but we will touch on a few. Let's start with unmanned and autonomous systems. Our UAS system is one of the most robust, and the rest of the world is starting to recognize. But don't just take my word for it. Hear firsthand how UAS companies and leaders are viewing the Grand Forks region.
So why Grand Forks?
Why Grand Forks?
Why Grand Forks?
Why Grand Forks?
When I think of why Grand Forks and why North Dakota, there's a population that comes to mind.
The future of UAS in Grand Forks is very bright because of the people that are here, the systems that are already in place, and the general ecosystem that supports the UAS industry.
Grand Sky is the reason that we are here.
Vantis, the test range, Grand Sky, and the University of North Dakota.
Collaboration and innovation.
The future of UAS in Grand Forks is bright. I see an ecosystem ready to thrive.
Grand Forks and the state of North Dakota are truly the perfect place for unmanned aircraft systems. And it's because we have every piece of the drone jigsaw puzzle. I would say that everything starts with, number one, the Grand Forks Air Force Base. From that, our entire UAS ecosystem stems. We have UAS attorneys, we have UAS service providers, we have UAS research entities, we have Grand Sky, which is the only of its kind in the country. We have the huge manufacturers in the Northrop Grumman and the General Atomics. We're starting to see the small manufacturers coming in, and you just don't see this in a different ecosystem.
The word no is not in the vocabulary of the UAS integration team here in the state. It is a welcoming environment, there's collaboration, there's innovation that is on a level that is unprecedented anywhere in the world.
Grand Forks believed in me, my co-founders. Without that belief, without a willingness to enter into the unknown, I would not be sitting in front of you today.
the linchpin for eyesight has been the conduit of trained operators and pilots coming out of UND who essentially are plug and play.
If you look at Grand Forks historically, all the historic firsts in aviation and UAS are really coming out of Grand Forks. You've got the Vantis program, the first statewide network for UAS monitoring operations. The first transatlantic drone flight came out of Grand Forks with the Air Force Base here. You have the first commercial drone park with Grand Sky. So, if you want to be on the cutting edge of drone technology, you have to be in Grand Forks.
We collaborate really, really well here in Grand Forks. We know our policymakers, we know our legislators.
We've been able to meet directly with representatives and senators and talk about UAS and the future of that industry. They've been incredibly engaged, and they really seem to understand the technology well and have a passion for it, which is great for the industry.
You're getting a taste of the future today. That future begins here, but moreover, we're shaping that future.
In 10 years, I think we're going to grow. I think the Grand Sky Park is going to grow. It's not going to look anything like what it looks like now. We're going to have more partners, more participants in the ecosystem to make this bigger and better and greater going into the future.
Why Grand Forks? Why not Grand Forks?
Well, thank you. This video was produced for the UAS Summit last October, and we thought we'd struggle to find people to contribute to it. But like the theme of our meeting, leaders came together to really showcase and talk about why Grand Forks is the place that they need to be. I'm going to go over some of the information that was in our opening video. The UAS ecosystem is actually out of this world. No, we haven't received a private flight from Elon Musk or Jeff Bezos yet, but we understand we're on the waiting list. The U.S. Space Development Agency is developing its Ground Operations and Integration Center at the Grand Forks Air Force Base. And this center will operate and control multi-layer satellite operations for our country's national defense. Doesn't that just roll off the tongue? Today this operation ties in nicely with UND space programming and continues to provide opportunities for tomorrow. Our largest advantage of UAS in our region is our unencumbered airspace. Every now and then it pays to have less than 1 million people in your state and absolutely no mountains. By working together, we paved the way for the first state beyond visual line of sight network, or Vantis. The command center for this one-of-a-kind capability, the Mission and Network Operations Center, another tongue twister, or MNOC, that's better, is located right at Grand Sky. In June, Colonel Curry and UND President Armacost signed an education partnership. Okay, before you get too nervous, I know this is the picture from last year when UND signed with the Space Force, and I really wish the President was here today. Is he? Are you here? But I never tire of looking at the smile on your face in this video, in this image. Okay, that's the second year in a row we'll retire the joke. Okay, here's the one we're talking about. That's a pretty good smile too. Colonel Curry, you too, so both of you. The UND Center for Innovation has been actively working with the North Spark Defense Laboratory at Grand Forks Air Force Base, and that agreement will allow them and all of UND to share resources and work collaboratively together. I want to take a second to congratulate U.S. Air Force Colonel Timothy Curry, commander of the 319th Missile Wing, and your upcoming retirement in July. We're happy to hear that you're going to be staying in the community after your retirement. We always talk about how the airmen and women who serve at Grand Forks Air Force Base are a part of our community, and it's absolutely true, and it's especially true in your case, Colonel Curry. Thank you for your service and the service of the airmen and women in your command. We also look forward to saying, "Hey, Tim," rather than "Good afternoon, Colonel Curry," when seeing you around town later this summer. Yesterday, albeit 25 years ago, there were only a couple of people at UND that were interested in UAS. Looking back, UND just provided offering an undergraduate degree in UAS in 2009. And as you look at it today, they just announced an undergraduate degree in aerospace engineering. The first of its kind, the only such program in South Dakota, North Dakota, Montana, Wyoming, and Idaho. Northland Community and Technical College contribute to our exciting ecosystem as well. They established the first industry standards in U.S. maintenance technicians. Our community coming together is a testament to all the work the first people did to bring this and create this exciting and robust ecosystem. There's been a lot of conversation about Grant Sky recently, and rightfully so. I need to acknowledge that we wouldn't be here today talking about Grant Sky if it weren't for Grand Forks County taking a leap of faith and leasing 217 acres from the Air Force. Thank you, County Commissioners, past and present, for your leadership and for helping to change the trajectory of our region for tomorrow. You know, we had a chance to celebrate Grant Sky at the Chamber's annual meeting, Barry. I think it was the best annual meeting you've ever had. They've all been great, but that one's just been a little greater. You know, I always thought the biggest weapons at Grant Sky would be Mike Friedolf's guns. But actually, there were 27 Global Hawk drones delivered to Northrop Grumman in 2022. Okay, I know that Global Hawks aren't technically weapons, but I think the joke still landed. The Test Resource Management Center, Sky Range, is fully underway, and drones are being retrofitted for tomorrow's missions right here in Grand Forks. General Atomics is also growing their flight training academy and testing capabilities. And Dean Gorder, I know you're here today. Good to see you. You know, we're thrilled at the growth of Grant Sky and the big drones that we have in our backyard, but we also have assets for smaller UAS companies as well. Consider the small UAS drone airport, Gorman Field, located just south of Emerado. This was developed by the UND Aerospace Foundation. This is just another asset that we can market today for growth tomorrow. Gorman Field has already been used by international UAS company Aero Robotics for flight demonstrations. I know it's impossible to tell on this photo, but the winds were over 30 miles an hour on this test flight. It's an amazing stability of this aircraft. I was there for this test flight in November, and I don't think I've been colder in my life. All of this, combined with our robust ecosystem, has put Grand Forks on the map. Local companies like Eyesight Drone Services are growing. I've never seen a company so intentional about making relationships and developing relationships with UND students than Eyesight Drone Services. We've recruited companies like True Weather Solutions out of New York, Aero Robotics from Germany, Vertipads and Thales from France, and many others. On the screen behind me are the UAS companies and organizations that we've been able to identify that are operating within our economy today. I'd like to share the companies that were operating here 10 years ago, but the screen would be blank. And we know that there are over 1,200 jobs that are associated with these companies and organizations right now. I think this is proof that what we invest in today can truly change the impact of our tomorrow and what that will look like. This didn't just happen by accident. It took the whole region coming together to introduce an entire new sector of business to our economy. Another one of our targeted sectors is technology, but in reality, UAS and technology intersect quite often. One way to see the connection is in the Hive. This will be a key asset for small UAS and other technology companies in our region. We're thankful for the mayor's and the city council's leadership for the creation of this innovative and buzzing space. In the startup world, one must evolve with a fast-paced environment or be left behind. We first got to know this company is Evolve Analytics, and they received funding from Microsoft through their TechSpark program, who first saw great potential in our technology. As a result of that attention and industry traction and a name change to Aerotonomy, the EDC and the Grand Forks Growth Fund provided a $50,000 grant to help propel the company forward. They leveraged that investment to receive a lift loan from the state of North Dakota, an accelerate loan from the city of Grand Forks to fuel that early growth. This support and the company's tenacity and yet another name change, Thread is now the most recent and largest Series A investment in North Dakota of more than $15 million led by Badlands Capital. For those of you who like to keep track, Thread has raised in excess of $26 million through public and private sources. And as Josh Reedy sort of explained on that in the video we just saw, I'm not sure this would have been possible without the support of our community. Let's remember that these things don't just happen. We need to be intentional about investing with companies with high potential or lose out to regions that are willing to take the risk on companies like Thread. Technology is a large industry and covers a vast array of companies, including Acme Tools and their e-commerce division. They continue to grow and have realized 46% increase in their employment over the last 2 years. And that's probably an old number. I saw Steve here today, so I'm sure you'd tell me that that's a bigger number today. Because of that increased demand and industry growth, they've doubled their e-commerce distribution in the Grand Forks Business Park a few years ago. Other technology companies that may be less known but are equally exciting are Ideal Aerosmith, Taylor-Ree, and Fenworks. Ideal Aerosmith adds diversity to our economy by using technology to offer a wide array of simulation and testing solutions to the aviation industry. Taylor-Ree brings new resources to our region by helping people tailor their online shopping experience. And Fenworks helps by diversify and add excitement to our economy by adding value to education through esports and a recently added drone racing component. Here to say a few words and talk about Fenworks' exciting growth and the things happening for the company is CEO of Fenworks and founder Caleb Deshak. Hold on. And for those of you who don't know Caleb, here comes Deshak.
Well, howdy, everybody. As Keith said, my name is Caleb Deshak. I'm the founder and CEO of Fenworks. Fenworks is a drone racing and esports company set to help young people learn, grow, and develop through competition in fun or nerdy, as I call it, activities. It's a pleasure to be here since we started right here in Grand Forks, North Dakota. Some of you may know this story already, but in 2014, I was ranked as the worst cross-country runner in the state of North Dakota. In fact, I was constantly in the bottom 10 of finishers in junior varsity cross-country, so you can say that traditional activities were not the place that I belonged. But I found my success in less traditional activities like robotics and speech and CTE programs, and that's a place where I constantly felt that I had my peers, my friends, and I could connect with others. I want to talk about that because Grand Forks has become that place where Fenworks and myself can belong, and that's because of the incredible partners like the EDC and so many of you in this room. So I'd like to highlight some of the key programs that have made us successful today. Firstly, the EDC, the State of North Dakota, and the Center for Innovation were major supporters through the Innovate ND program. Innovate ND is a rigorous program that helps companies align their team, their product, and so much more to prepare for growth. After 4 trials, Fenworks was awarded grant funding from the state, which put us on the path to participate in LIFT, or the Innovation Technology Fund. Because of that program, Fenworks qualified for $500,000 in funding, allowing us to grow to 26 employees and be in 6 states. The EDC has also helped forge partnerships in the UAS sector that have been absolutely critical to us. Because of their efforts, industry has joined us at the table to help support the next generation of after-school activities. Our drone racing program has taken off to great success thanks to their efforts, and now young people in North Dakota are learning about the career opportunities, how to operate drones, and of course, they're continuing to have fun, make friends, and learn through play. So together with our partners, we're creating the workforce of tomorrow, and we're training students in jobs that have only recently been created. One last thing I want to comment on is that tomorrow and Saturday, we will be hosting Fenworks' state tournament right here at the Alara Center. Over the last year, hundreds of young people in North Dakota and Minnesota have been gaming and competing, and they will have the opportunity to go on the big stage this Friday and Saturday to prove who the best in our states are. We would love for you to join us, and I believe our opening ceremony is kicking off at noon tomorrow, so please join us for that. Thank you. So thank you. Thank you to the EDC. Thank you to the local community. Thank you to all of you who believed in us when this was just a small company, more of an idea in a tiny office space at the 701 where we probably broke fire code with having 10 employees in one room. Don't ask any questions. But thank you for believing us, because now we have the opportunity to change the lives of young people by creating the programs that they need today. And that's only possible because you made Grand Forks a place where we belong. So thank you.
Okay. You know, I have this image of a young, over-caffeinated Caleb, spending hour after hour gaming in your basement with some adult lecturing over you saying, if you don't stop this mindless activity, you'll never amount to anything. So thank you, Caleb, for a couple of things. Number one, for following your passion and creating a tremendous company in Grand Forks. But I think more importantly, thank you for making such a difference in the lives of young people in the region. So thank you for sharing your comments with us today. UES might be the new kid on the block, and we're excited about all the new companies that are coming to Grand Forks as a result. But studies have shown that as much as 75% of your sustained job growth comes from companies that are right here in your economy today. A couple of examples. Cirrus Aircraft is growing and expanding, and they continue to make investments in Grand Forks. In December, they received an additional 100-ton, 75-foot-long autoclave that will help them increase their production rates and produce longer and larger component parts. I want to acknowledge and recognize Cirrus Executive Director of Corporate and Government Affairs, Mark Schrammick. I don't know where he's sitting, but I saw him come in and shook his hand. He's relatively new to the company, but making an impact and very intentional about making relationships and strengthening relationships in Grand Forks. There you are. Mark, thanks for coming today. LM Wind Power is starting to ramp up to increase production to serve an escalating demand from U.S. wind developers. And the Grand Forks region has primary sector companies of all sizes, and we work with them to help them grow, including North Dakota Coffee Roastery, which expanded their production facility recently. And there's no such thing as too much coffee, and we just learned that from Caleb. Real Good Cookies had a real good year as we worked together to fund their expansion. There's no such thing as too many cookies, as evidenced by my expanding waistline. And Young Manufacturing and Air Cedar Parts are purchasing a new facility and are expanding in Grand Forks. Let's talk about agribusiness for just a moment. Agriculture is in our roots. Despite all the excitement and energy of growth of our emerging sectors, today agribusiness continues to be the area of largest investment in our region. At the end of the day, agriculture, as I mentioned, is in our roots and will continue to be our tomorrow. To demonstrate that this has been an historic part of our economy, today the mill has been in business for over 100 years. We've been doing this a long time, a century. The mill is one of a kind, being the only state-owned mill in the country and the largest mill in North America. This was a product of many entities working together to better our economy and region for tomorrow. Before we go any further, we need to address the elephant in the room, Fufang. Listen, folks, we work on a lot of projects. Some are successful, and some don't make it to the finish line. I've seen projects fall off at the beginning, in the middle, at the very end. Some are low profile, and some dominate the headlines. You all know we worked on Fufang for a long time, but at the end of the day, we are extremely thankful for the clarity that the Air Force provided and the swift and decisive action of Mayor Baczynski and the Grand Forks City Council. Not everything is smooth and nothing is perfect. However, I can't express to you how thankful that I am that we have aggressive leadership that wakes up every day thinking about how to grow Grand Forks. Just look around, the evidence is undeniable. Economic developers around the region, around the state, would be lucky to have that kind of leadership leaning into growing their communities. Leadership matters. One of the things that was underscored in this process is that we have a tremendous opportunity to develop value-added ag in our region. There's an element of recession resiliency. We always need to eat. Livestock always needs to be fed. We will always need potatoes, sugar, and macaroni. Again, this industry protects us from the wild swings from the national and international economy. Companies like Simplot, American Crystal Sugar, and Philadelphia Macaroni invest tens of millions of dollars in their facility every year with little fanfare. And we're excited about these companies and the additional value that they're driving in the agribusiness sector. We've had new companies choose Grand Forks as well. Red River Potatoes acquired a facility and purchased land in Grand Forks to expand their production of potato products. Vertical Malt is establishing their Grand Forks-based malting operation as we speak. And Three Farm Daughters, who purchase and package nutritional pasta products from locally grown crops, is continuing to expand. And we were tremendously excited when Epitome Energy announced their intention to develop a $418 million soybean crushing facility in our county. There are obvious reasons why Epitome Energy would choose Grand Forks. Chief among them, this is one of the best places in the world to grow soybeans. Less obvious but equally important is that Grand Forks leadership partners with businesses and clearly maps out a path to success. As I mentioned before, leadership matters. We tried really hard to get Dennis Egan from Epitome Energy today, but he had a long-standing commitment that he just couldn't unwind. So Dennis is joining us by video to talk about why Grand Forks is the perfect place for their project and all about their soybean crushing facility.
Hello, my name's Dennis Egan, President and CEO of Epitome Energy. Several months ago, we pivoted from Minnesota to Grand Forks to build our project. Grand Forks is a community that cares about its people and businesses. This is a place that welcomes big ideas and innovation. That is why we're proud to call Grand Forks home to our development of our $418 million soybean crushing facility. The leadership at the Grand Forks Regional Economic Development Corporation played a critical role in our decision to move forward in Grand Forks. Keith Lund and his team bring a high level of professionalism and deep commitment to the business community that gave us the confidence and certainty that we were looking for to build our project. They gave us the roadmap for success. We are committed to serving soybean farmers across the Red River Valley with value-added processing, which will yield better prices for their crops while creating new market opportunities. A significant portion of the plant's soybean oil will go into the renewable diesel market. Our meal and hulls will go to feed the livestock industry. We believe in the economic strength of Grand Forks and are excited about its future. The Grand Forks area is a hub for agribusinesses that already supports over 5,000 jobs. Our project will serve as an important economic driver for this region, generating up to $300 million in new economic growth. Will create 50 to 60 new permanent jobs and indirectly support an additional 800 jobs in the region. Since we announced our plans in Grand Forks, we've been overwhelmed with the positive response and support from the business community, the city and state leaders, and the Grand Forks Area Chamber of Commerce. We're grateful for the ongoing support of Mayor Paczynski and the City Council. Todd Phelan and his team have been great to work with. And of course, the Grand Forks EDC. Their guidance has been invaluable, and we look ahead to intend to provide numerous opportunities for our team members to give back to this community as we deepen our roots here. Again, sorry I'm not able to be with you this evening, but have a great evening, and we will see you soon. Keith, congratulations on a great year.
Thank you, Dennis. Grand Forks truly is a special place. We have a community that works together to make things happen, and that couldn't be more true when it comes to the Region's workforce programming. Business, education, and community leaders came together to launch the Northern Valley Career Expo in 2012. And 5 years later, leaders came together to create the Cooler Than You Think initiative, and the business community stepped up to financially invest to sustain the initiative. And we announced last year at our annual meeting a campaign to drive membership so that we could add capacity to our workforce programming. And today, I am proud to say that because of you, your trust in the EDC, and your support, we move forward and we're able to hire an additional team member that will allow us to continue to innovate in this area. Whether you've been an investor with the EDC for 30 years or just joined us, thank you for stepping up and thank you for investing in the region. I need to take a moment to recognize the person who has been at the helm of our workforce development for the last 6 years, Director of Workforce Development, Becca Kruger. Becca was recently recognized as the 40 under 40 in economic development by the International Economic Development Council. That's a really big deal. That recognition is really on behalf of the tremendous work she does with the partners in the region. Greater Grand Forks would not be what it is today without your passion and leadership, and let's not forget your partnership. So please help me welcome Becca to the stage to talk a little bit more about workforce.
As I was standing in a room full of people on a stage getting this 40 Under 40 Economic Development Award, I was with people who were from major metro areas, Pittsburgh, Philadelphia, New York City, and there I was from Grand Forks, North Dakota. I am so proud to work on behalf of this community. I'm so proud to work with a team of super talented economic developers in a room full of businesses who lean in when it comes to workforce development. When I first started at the EDC 6 years ago, I wanted to make sure that the work we were doing in workforce was cutting edge. And so I started to benchmark strategies that other communities were doing, and I quickly realized that we are doing gold standard workforce development in Grand Forks. Part of that is due to our work at the EDC, but much of it is due to the people who are in this room today. Time after time, you all have come to the table. You've partnered, you'd put aside egos to do the right things to help make change. And one of the most recent examples of this is the Career Impact Academy, which is finally gaining momentum. We have a little bit of work to do in the legislature, but we're ready to stick some shovels in the ground. And thank you to Grand Forks Superintendent Terry Brenner and to the school board for your entire leadership on this project, for embracing it, and for truly helping to build the future of workforce for our local industry and to help build the future for the kids as well and put them a step ahead. So when they said you have 72 days to raise $10 million, there was only one thing any of us on the steering committee could really do, and that was go home and take a Xanax. But truly, the EDC was not alone in this effort. Eric Ripley co-led the steering committee. He's a fantastic individual, might even have more caffeine than Caleb Schock. And Janelle Regenbald, who provided incredible programmatic support. And there were dozens of committed organizations and leaders around the table, and all of you in this room. Everyone stepped up and helped raise $72 million, or no, that would have been too much. $10 million in 72 days because our kids are our future. And we've always felt like that in Grand Forks. For example, the Northern Valley Career Expo launched and it has 10 years of history. We take 2,000 10th graders and we stick them in a room, and they come from 50 high schools across 14 counties in northwest Minnesota and northeast North Dakota. And there are 150 exhibits, companies who bring hands-on activities so kids can learn about and explore their future careers. I know some of you in this room were at the Northern Valley Career Expo this year, and I'm so thankful for you taking the time to invest in our future. And for those of you who weren't, you heard it right, 2,000 high schoolers in one room. That alone is enough of a reason to hire a second workforce developer. At the EDC, we know that creating a robust workforce pipeline doesn't stop at high school, and we bring it right to the college doorstep with Intern Grand Forks, a partner program with UND's Center for Innovation. I have to thank Dr. Whitney for her amazing leadership and vision and ongoing partnership in this program. And if you're wondering, what is the impact of creating local internships? We surveyed the students who went through this program, and of those who responded, 80% said they had taken their first job or continued on with their internship in Grand Forks. That's pretty powerful. We also partner with UND's School of Graduate Studies when it comes to workforce. If you haven't talked to Dean Chris Nelson about how he is helping highly skilled graduate students connect to local industry, I was going to tell you to find him in the food line later, but his flight got delayed. So he said I could just tell you to lean on the rest of UND administration to do his job tonight. We talk about a pipeline. We have high school and college, and we need to talk about what happens after graduation. How do we keep people here? And how do we attract from outside of the region? Locally, we have Greater Grand Forks, way cooler than you think, a talent attraction initiative, and you've probably heard about the state's relaunch of the Find the Good Life campaign, which I'm really proud to serve as a community champion and introduce people to Grand Forks. Greater Grand Forks, you heard, took home the Gold Award for Special Purpose Websites in 2022. That's the highest award that you can get internationally, and I'm really, really proud of that. Thank you. Cooler embraces all of the elements that make Grand Forks County an incredible place to live. Since it launched in 2017 with the backing of the city, the county, UND, Visit Greater Grand Forks, and our partners at the Chamber, it's evolved to include a newsletter called What's Cooler Today, written by locals who blog about the cooler things in Greater Grand Forks from their perspective. We've also created a relocation guide that gets handed out to every single newcomer at the Grand Forks Air Force Base and is available digitally and print for our local employers who want to welcome or close the deal on new employees. I want to provide a very special thank you. Cooler wouldn't be what it is today without the team at AE2S Communications, which helped to create the brand and continues to support the initiative. They also are working with Red River Regional Council and Destination Red River on a similar initiative in Walsh, Nelson, and Pembina counties. Truly, this company is the gold standard for talent attraction websites, and I feel fortunate to get to work with them. Now, folks, we've handed out a lot of thank yous, and you've given so much to us. I want to give something back to you and fulfill my lifelong dream of becoming a talk show host. So, look under your chairs. You get a workforce pipeline brochure, and you get a workforce pipeline brochure. Just kidding, they're on your tables. Workforce is important to all of you, but it's even more important because the companies who are evaluating Grand Forks are really interested in workforce in our region. In fact, during the last 2 site visits we've had, those companies wanted to spend an entire day talking about workforce and labor markets. And that's happening all across the United States. That is the new standard in site selection. When we present them with this workforce pipeline brochure, which has all of the innovative programs offered in the region from all of our partnering entities, including our friends at Job Service North Dakota, it really sets Grand Forks apart. I'm not going to stand up here and say that all of our workforce challenges are solved, mostly because there'd probably be a mutiny, and it wouldn't matter even if I was Oprah. Grand Forks leaders have really leaned into workforce, and I want to show you that the work that we're doing is making an impact. None of you are sitting around on your heels, and neither are we at the EDC. Besides Northern Valley Career Expo, I want you to really look through that workforce pipeline brochure because none of those programs existed 10 years ago. I want to show you what these programs have meant to our region. In the last 12 years, we've had a 27% increase in people aged 25 to 39. And today, the combined effort of working together as a community to recruit and retain a talented workforce has shown positive traction. Keith likes to joke that if you increase one population, you're probably going to increase another population. So you can see the corollary statistic on screen, 11% increase in school-aged children during that same time period. And I want you to look at that screen and really see what's going on nationally with those statistics. Grand Forks is doing something right. We are retaining young professionals in our community, and that is going to serve us well into the future. Our office intends to get serious about pursuing large grants for workforce programs. We plan to devise and implement a regional strategic workforce plan with the help of our partners together at the city, county, the chamber, and our partners at UND, Northland, and Lake Region State College. I'm proud to have been on the team that led one of those grants. We went through an application process for the Regional Workforce Impact Program, or RWIP, since we love acronyms, for Region 4, which includes Walsh, Nelson, Pembina, and Grand Forks counties. I want to stop and make sure to recognize Dawn Mant and the Red River Regional Council. Without her leadership, this grant wouldn't have gotten across the finish line. She was amazing. Region 4, because of our combined efforts, was awarded $1.7 million, $1 million of which went to child care centers, which we all know contributes to workforce challenges. And additionally, some dollars went to support the Career Impact Academy, and some went to support Greater Grand Forks Way Cooler Than You Think's new initiative. With these RWIP dollars, we are leading Cooler through the creation of a series of videos in partnership with Liquid Images Studios. These videos will showcase rural communities in Grand Forks County, the lifestyle, what makes a small town so great to live in. And the videos will be accompanied by a digital advertising campaign across the nation featuring the open jobs in our region. So we're pairing lifestyle with a digital advertising campaign featuring jobs. The first video in the series is finished and features Amaretto, located just 20 minutes west of Grand Forks. The community is 428 strong, so please lend us an ear and see why Amaretto will have you saying, "Aw, shucks."
What difference does an ear of corn make to this community? That's a great question.
Sinking, 1, 2, 3. The ship is sinking. Hey, Colin Hansen here with Greater Grand Forks is Way Cooler Than You Think. We're at the Amaretto Corn Feed.
My name is Amy Stromsit. Number one, the corn feed I really think brings awareness to Amaretto. Each year we've added a little bit more and a little bit more and a little bit more, and it's really grown. Now we have over 1,000 people that come and go throughout the day.
Welcome to the Amaretto Corn Feed. Tell us who you are.
Yeah, my name is G, and heard about the corn feed and figured I'd bring the kids out for a good time.
It takes over 100 dozen cobs of corn, which is 1,200 ears of corn. And we go through about 34 pounds of butter to make this event fly.
When you're eating corn, what's the best part? Is it the corn or the butter?
Corn, butter.
What's better, the corn or the butter?
Ooh, I think I'm gonna have to go with the butter.
Butter and salt. I really like corn, but when I tried it with butter, everything changed.
The Amaretto Corn Feed doesn't happen without all of the volunteers that we have. We have a great community, tight-knit group that gets together, puts on this huge event.
Very special guest with us today. Who are you?
Colonel Mays.
You are the winner of the corn shucking competition.
I think Amaretto's a little bit more hidden than what we'd like it to be.
Not many people come through Amaretto, really.
A lot of people really don't know what downtown Amaretto has to offer, or even that there's a school in Amaretto.
So originally when we drove past Amaretto, all we saw was an overpass, so it's a little hard to see the actual city.
There's a whole nother section of town across the railroad tracks that a lot of people just aren't familiar with.
So I grew up in a small town, one just like Amaretto. It's disappointing that those who are driving along Highway 2 drive right by Amaretto and all they see is an off-ramp and the subway. I met so many people who found Amaretto today in the corn feed for the first time, and they were excited, surprised that this community was hidden back here and are coming back next year. My hope is that one day you can drive down Highway 2, take the off-ramp into Emerado and go just beyond the railroad tracks and also discover this great community.
It's a little bigger than we initially thought it was.
My name is Brandon Bombach. The corn feed is more than anything an identity builder.
I liked it, the bouncy houses and the fire hose thing.
It helps us know that we have something worth celebrating.
But once you get across the tracks, you're going to find a whole other part of the city where there's plenty of residences.
It's a really nice town, it's a pretty town.
We take one day and we throw a party. With it, the centerpiece of that is free corn for any and all.
We'll definitely do it again next year.
We got a great school.
My family moved here back when I was in 5th grade.
As mayor of Emerado, I'd like to see some younger families moving into town.
When my wife and I bought the home I grew up in from my parents in 2016, and now we raise our 4 kids there.
You know, for us, these ears of corn really just represent everybody doing their part to make this a place we love, our home. It's where we love to live.
Well, the only question is, what will your family love about living in Emerado? While I love the corn, I think the butter's my favorite.
Thank you, Becca, for your leadership in promoting the Grand Forks region, and to the Emerado community for helping us in partnership in that video, the full video. This one way that we're promoting the communities through Cooler and allowing the communities to promote themselves through Cooler as well. The next video would feature Northwood and highlighting all the community assets, including the Northwood Performing Arts Center. If you haven't been there, you need to go. It's fantastic. And the video after that will feature Gilby, which hosts an annual geocaching festival, which is often referred to as the Disneyland of geocaching. I have no idea what that means, but the staff tells me that I'll be traipsing through the woods later this summer. As you can see, Greater Grand Forks is way cooler than you think. You know, all the amazing work that we talked about today and the success would not be possible without the amazing staff. We have some new faces, but the same strong commitment, and please, I'll try to quickly introduce them to you today, and we'll start with the new faces. Our newest addition to the team, Kate Presler. Kate started as our Workforce Development Specialist on Monday. Yes, 3 days ago Monday. Kate will be in the back to answer any questions you have about the EDC after the meeting today. Just kidding, Kate. Kate has an impressive background in multimedia and event planning, and she'll make a tremendous impact right away. Bill Adams joined the team in October, and he's our UAS Development Officer. And a little like Kate, we threw him right into the deep end of the pool on day 3 when he represented the EDC and in many ways the community at the UAS Summit in Grand Forks. Bill has wasted no time building connections and getting to know all the players in the UAS ecosystem. Mark Maliski, he's our Marketing Communications Manager, and he started in August. Mark's favorite question is to ask why we did something or what the goal was, so we can make sure we're always meeting the objective or change it if we're off a little bit. He's the one who's responsible for this event, and my notes say keeping us on time, but I guess I can't say that right now. And he's also responsible for the dancing potatoes that you saw earlier in the presentation. Kevin started in July of last year as our Business Development Officer, but you'd never know that. Since his first day, Kevin has rolled with the newness of the position and is supporting business growth in our region. And also, I have to say that I used to think I was tall before we hired Kevin. It's a tip. Never put Kevin on the top step of a Brady Bunch staircase photo. For those of you under 30 or 40, look it up, it's a thing. Amy Lund is our finance coordinator. She works part-time but has a full-time impact. From paying the bills and to pestering us for receipts, she's the best at that. And to make sure we're within budget, Amy is holding us accountable. And Amy would also be extremely mad if I didn't remind all of you, like I do every year, that we are in no way related. Bridget West, our operations specialist. Bridget is the glue that holds our office together, but as she likes to say, she's the bridge that holds us all together. Bridget has single-handedly rebuilt our customer relationship management system, restructured our workflow to increase efficiencies, and answers all of our questions with a smile. There's a joke going around the office that my weekly staff meeting is actually Bridget's staff meeting to keep us all in line. It's a little bit funny and a lot of it true. And finally, you heard from Becca a short time ago. Becca's been leading our workforce development efforts for the past 6 years, and the impact she's made is tremendous. She's my first hire, and she's not at all shy about telling me and anyone that will listen that it's the best decision I ever made. So not only is she an advocate for workforce in our community, she gives back to the community by volunteering with the CVIC and through things like art and like the downtown mural that she helped to complete last year. None of what we talked about today would be possible without this incredibly talented team. So could you please help me and thank them for their passion and dedication. I also need to recognize and thank the EDC board for their committed leadership and vision. EDC board members receive very little glory and even less pay, as in no pay. They selflessly give of themselves to drive regional growth, so thank you very much for your support. So as we close today, I just need to say that it is truly an honor and a privilege to lead this great organization and to work along so many talented and passionate partners that come together to propel this region forward. It's not always easy work, and we don't always agree. What fun would that be? But when it comes time to come together, to remove a barrier, seize an opportunity, this region knows how to roll up its sleeves and get to work. We've demonstrated it time after time. Today, we set the course for tomorrow, and we do it together. Thank you for your time and attention, and enjoy the rest of your evening.
So I want to thank Keith for her and Becca and the others that presented tonight, to thank them for their words of the results that they produced in 2022, where we're going in 2023, and Keith, I want to thank you for that. And just a few parting comments, because I know we're on time or off time, but I got just a few things to say. If you think about the EDC team and you think about community, from a city, county, university, NCTC, any avenue that we have, private sector, I think of these words: purposeful approach, effective leadership, strong expectations of their team, being very agile and needing to change. We've had some interesting pivots, right, Keith? Okay? And strong partnership. And when you put all of those together, you have a great, highly recognized community. You know, I serve on the GNDC State Chamber Board. We are, as a community, recognized as one of the most effective communities in partnership. I have a good friend that's the Chief Technology Officer at Deere & Company. I like Deere products, I sell them, right? His best students, or best employees, are graduates of UND. So President Armacost, hats off to you and your team that deliver great results for the workforce. Lastly, I appreciate the fact that you are all in attendance tonight or today. And it's meaningful to us and to our EDC team and as a board, because this is what we learn from you and we live and do through you, your support. So with that, thank you. This concludes our program. Please stay after for some hors d'oeuvres, drinks, and celebration. Thanks to the EDC team and everyone here. Thank you, Keith.